Welcome, WrestleRanters, back to edition number 16 of WrestleRant for another electric episode to review last night's Monday Night Raw of October 17th, 2011. But before I get to last night's controversial, a decent episode of Monday Night Raw, I will review this past Sunday's TNA Bound for Glory event. It took place live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the biggest event of TNA's pay-per-view schedule of the year, and we were given some awesome matches. I had the pleasure of watching live all night long, and had the pleasure of also viewing and witnessing some electric matches all throughout the 3-hour broadcast. I'm not going to go through match to match because I want to save time for this episode to review last night's Monday Night Raw, but I will say that Bound for Glory, I'm not going to say it was a huge letdown because there was a lot of people that said that it epically failed to produce as a huge event, and in that sense it did towards the end, but within the first, I'd say maybe 2 hours or so, it really did feel like a WrestleMania pay-per-view where wrestling finally matters in TNA. They've been having that slogan for the past maybe 4 months now, and that finally came to fruition this past Sunday night with RVD and Jerry Lynn, which is the only match that I got wrong in my prediction list, ironically enough. We had a lackluster match, I Quit match between AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, where Daniels cut a promo, the longest promo of his career, and he cut it during a WrestleMania pay-per-view during his I Quit match, in a very less than desirable finish, with Daniels saying I quit before Styles could stab him with a screwdriver. That was pretty unordinary, not in a good way. But also we saw a new Knockouts champion crowned in Velvet Sky for the first time. Crimson Streak extend against Samoa Joe and Matt Morgan in a triple threat match. And Hulk Hogan and Sting produced a better match than I thought they would, which was my only huge problem going into Bound for Glory. They were able to produce a decent match nonetheless. Hulk Hogan got interference from Ric Flair, which we all saw coming, even though they said that it was going to be a clean cut match right from the very beginning, but Ric Flair was going to interfere anyway. I had no major problem with that, seeing that it was a fight. I don't know why Ric Flair didn't break up the pin or submission or whatever when Sting had the Scorpion Deathlock on Hogan. If it's a no DQ match, then why didn't Ric Flair just come and interfere and just cost Sting the match and help Hogan win? But nonetheless, they had the referee finally reveal himself as Eric Bischoff's son, who turned face afterwards. They've been hinting at that for the past year now. It's about time they finally pulled it off, but in an anticlimactic manner. Then afterwards, they had Immortal come out, the 1-year anniversary of Immortal, come out and beat up Sting, only for Hogan to turn face on his Immortal, co-teammates, his stable, and ironically turned face just a year after he turned heel and joined Immortal. So I'm not sure what this means. It absolutely makes no sense seeing that Hogan turned face, seeing that he was just beating up Sting 5 minutes prior to that. But the crowd absolutely ate it up and loved it, so that's the important thing. And then in the main event, we had the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match between Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. It felt more like an Impact main event to me, especially seeing that they didn't get enough time as they should have. They only got around 14 minutes. WrestleMania pay-per-views should, at least for the World Championship, at least reach 20 minutes. So they kind of suffered from that, especially seeing that they had like 10 minutes left of the broadcast when they cut off at 10:50, 10:45. So they definitely could have gone longer, and the introductions were less than desirable as well. But they did have a good match. Bobby Roode went for the crossface quite a few times, and I predicted that Angle would win, and he ended up retaining his championship, but not in the way that I hoped. Kurt Angle ended up retaining the championship in a chicken shit heel fashion by putting his feet on the ropes and retaining the title like that, ending the pay-per-view on that note, just on a sour note. They've done that for the past few years. Just remember last year they revealed Immortal on Bound for Glory in the last closing minutes, so that ended on a sour note. 2008, Sting won the TNA Championship as a heel, so that was a sour note. So they can never really get it straight. They should know that the WrestleMania pay-per-view should end on a high note. making us look forward to future impacts, and not in a bad way, seeing that's what they did with Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. I'm not sure if Bobby Roode's going to get another championship title shot. I mean, I'm not too high on him. I don't see him as top championship material, but I hope that he will be in the next few months. I could definitely see him as TNA World Champion, and I'm definitely pushing for him to win the belt sometime later this year or early next year if Jeff Hardy doesn't challenge for the belt upon his return. So, enough about Bound for Glory. On to Monday Night Raw. So we kick off the show with John Laurinaitis, the interim Raw General Manager, and Jim Ross. Apologized to Jim Ross. Set up the main event. I mean, seeing that Jim Ross went straight to commentary right when he came out, that came as no surprise, because WWE Fan Nation, their YouTube page, released footage of this a couple of days ago, this past Saturday night, so that really came as no shock when JR was put in the match. But John Laurinaitis is starting to develop a personality in my eyes. That's what I saw. You know, with his miniature comedy, I got a few laughs out of that. So I did like that part of John Laurinaitis' promo last night. So he is certainly developing on the mic, and hopefully he can become a strong heel since everyone hates him, especially because of his raspy voice. And after that, we had a high, fun, great match, great tag team match, high-flying, adrenaline rush. Okay, maybe not adrenaline rush, but you know what I mean. Great match, great six-man tag team match with Mark Henry, Cody Rhodes, and Christian defeating the team of Sheamus, John Morrison, and Randy Orton. The two rivalries in Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, along with Sheamus and Christian, was certainly pushed here, so that was the main focus, and they succeeded in that, especially seeing that both these two rivalries will probably culminate this Sunday at Vengeance, which left John Morrison and Mark Henry in the ring afterwards, before the match ended. When that happened, you could certainly see the finish coming, but it was very, very cool, and a very, very cool spot with Morrison jumping up, Mark Henry reversing John Morrison's maneuver into a World's Strongest Slam, which I thought was pretty impressive, giving Mark Henry the heat back that he's lost in recent weeks on SmackDown. So then after that, we had Eve versus Natalya and a decent Divas match, something that we haven't seen in a long time, especially with this Kelly crap that she's been wrestling in every single match on Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view, whatever. So it was a nice change of pace to see Eve in the title picture. I'm not sure how she could have earned the championship match since all she's done is lost in the past few weeks / months. So I don't know what she's done to earn it. But it's nice to see that she's getting a championship shot this Sunday against Beth Phoenix for the Divas Championships. It was logical that she'd go over Natalya in this match last night. But good match nonetheless. After that, we had a match between CM Punk and The Miz. The solid match of the night. I think this is certainly match of the night for me. I've been pushing for these two to have another renewal of this rivalry from ECW, which was about 4 years ago when they started this rivalry between CM Punk and The Miz, and the roles were reversed. But this looks to be a great rivalry if it ever does unwind, and it does look like it will get potential of that this Sunday when we see CM Punk and Triple H take on the Awesome Truth. I didn't see that Triple H's interference in this match between CM Punk and The Miz was certainly at all necessary. I don't think he needed to come out at all. But afterwards, we saw CM Punk and R-Truth outsmart Awesome Truth. Now, the logic here is that if CM Punk can outsmart Awesome Truth on his own, then why would he need Triple H to do it for him this Sunday in a tag team match? I mean, Awesome Truth has lost all heat whatsoever since returning. That was definitely canned heat last night, seeing that they taped Raw this past Saturday in Mexico City. So I'm not really sure what the legitimate chances are of Awesome Truth going over this Sunday clean, if at all, going over against the team of CM Punk and Triple H at Vengeance. Not a match that I'm certainly looking forward to. After that, we had a match between Zack Ryder and Jack Swagger, where Zack Ryder defeated Swagger within about 2 minutes, a minute or less, I'm not really sure. But I left for like 2 seconds and I came back and the match was over. So that goes to tell you that they're just burying Jack Swagger. And now I'm very, very high on Zack Ryder and I'm all for him picking up wins, but not in this kind of fashion. I mean, if he picks up quick wins against credible heels, it will do nothing for either man, I should say. And Zack Ryder, if he wants to get back in the United States Championship picture, he needs to pick up credible wins against Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger in at least a 5-minute match. Because I know Zack Ryder and Jack Swagger have potential to put on a good match. They both have certainly got the skills for it, so hopefully we see that come to fruition in the near future. And then after that we saw Dolph Ziggler take on Mason Ryan. Dolph Ziggler won by disqualification. Kind of a weak finish, seeing that Mason Ryan destroyed Dolph Ziggler afterwards. Certainly, I think this is put in place to see that Mason Ryan doesn't get a United States Championship shot this Sunday. I think he might get one in the future. Unfortunately, I don't think he needs a championship as a face, as I've said that in the past. So I don't see the point in having Air Boom off the program, even though they will be wrestling on WWE Superstars this week. They certainly should have gotten him in for a promo or a run-in or something to hype this tag team championship match between Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger and Air Boom this Sunday. Burying the team of Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger does nothing for that team, that alliance, and I don't think they're going to go over this Sunday. They might win the championships. More than likely, I think they might, but I'll get back to you on that when I think my predictions this Sunday for the uneventful Vengeance pay-per-view. Then in the main event, we had John Cena and Jim Ross defeat the team of Michael Cole and Alberto Del Rio. This match went about 10-11 minutes in the main event. The crowd was no different than usual, with the males booing Cena, the females and the kids booing Alberto. The females and the kids cheering John Cena, I should say. And it went about 10 minutes, but technically, in a way, it kind of gave away John Cena versus Del Rio for this Sunday for the WWE Championship, because this entire match is all Cena versus Del Rio, obviously, because the commentators aren't going to wrestle constantly, so aren't going to take a primary place in this match. So that was kind of a given. Seeing JR get the pin kind of excited me, seeing that JR was the one tapping out the ankle lock many months ago. So that was a nice foreshadow to that. Then John Cena closed the program with attacking Alberto Del Rio, saying that the match this Sunday will be a last man standing match. Now this rivalry has been very anticlimactic. They've been building this up since, I think, January. They've had plans for this feud being rooted since Del Rio moved to Raw. And I don't think a last man standing match is certainly the match to fit it. Maybe a steel cage, definitely not a last man standing, because this entire feud has been overshadowed in the last couple of months anyway, with CM Punk and Triple H and his entire conspiracy theory, and Del Rio being booked as shit. So I'm not really sure what this does for this Sunday. I'm certainly not looking forward to it. Seeing that Cena just buried Del Rio at the end of Raw, I don't think that Del Rio is going to retain this Sunday. If he does, I will be pleasantly surprised. And if he does, I'm certainly sure that he will be doing it via Dirty Tactics, some Awesome Truth, or someone, or Kevin Nash. We'll never know. I'll have to see about that. So overall, a decent episode of Monday Night Raw. Good action all night long. We also had some hype for Vengeance. Not that much, but they did last-minute hype for Vengeance. Seeing that they've only had 3 weeks to build this up, I don't blame them. But in a hype-wise, hyping for Vengeance this Sunday, I think they failed in that category. Not majorly, but I think they did fail to an extent that people won't be buying the show this Sunday, and hopefully be looking forward to Rock's return at Survivor Series next month. So that about does it for the Raw review of this week. I will hopefully be back next week for another Raw review, and to make sure to follow me on Twitter for all the wrestling convos. If you want to talk to me about wrestling, I am starting up an OVU chat during Raw, TNA, Impact, preferably SmackDown as well, possibly pay-per-views. You can hit me up at BJealous305 on OVU, and also to follow me on Twitter at save_us_GSM for all the latest WWE and TNA rumors, recaps, reviews, and more. Visit my personal website at nexterrawrestling.weebly.com. I'd highly appreciate your subscribes, your likes, comments, and overall feedback and criticism of my latest blog, WrestleRant blog. And as I said, I will be back next week for the next edition of WrestleRant edition number 17, seeing that I will be gone this weekend. And also to check out my Bleacher Report articles. I will be planning a big one this Thursday on Big Show and Mark Henry feud, so make sure to check that out. And as always, have a very nice week, everyone. I will be on Twitter all week long if you want to talk wrestling and whatever. So this is Bleacher Report featured columnist GSM, signing out.